Welcome to the module on tsunami. By the end of this module, you will be able to describe a tsunami, highlight the impact of tsunamis, understand the causes of tsunami, understand what happens when a tsunami hits the land, understand the tsunami warning system, understand what to do before, during, and after the tsunami, and understand the role of volunteers. Tsunami or harbor wave is a series of waves in a water body caused by the displacement of a large volume of water, generally in an ocean or a large lake. Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions and other underwater explosions including detonations, landslides, glacier calving, meteorite impacts and other disturbances, above or below water, all have the potential to generate a tsunami. Unlike normal ocean waves, which are generated by wind or tides, which in turn are generated by the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun, a tsunami is generated by the displacement of water. Tsunami waves do not resemble normal undersea currents or sea waves because their wavelength is far longer. Rather than appearing as breaking waves, a tsunami may instead initially resemble a rapidly rising tide. Tsunamis generally consist of a series of waves, with periods ranging from minutes to hours, arriving in a so-called wave train. Wave heights of tens of meters can be generated by large events. Although the impact of tsunamis is limited to coastal areas, their destructive power can be enormous, and they can affect entire ocean basins. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami was among the deadliest natural disasters in human history, with at least 230,000 people killed or missing in 14 countries bordering the Indian Ocean. Tsunamis can result in devastating coastal flooding and loss of lives. Let's understand the causes of a tsunami and learn about what happens when a tsunami hits land. These awe-inspiring waves are typically caused by large, undersea earthquakes at tectonic plate boundaries. When the ocean floor at a plate boundary rises or falls suddenly, it displaces the water above it and launches rolling waves that will become a tsunami. Most tsunamis, about 80%, occur within the Pacific Ocean's Ring of Fire, a geologically active area where tectonic shifts make volcanic eruptions and earthquakes common. Tsunami may also be caused by underwater landslides or volcanic eruptions. It may even be launched by the impact of a large meteorite plunging into an ocean. Tsunamis raise across the sea at up to 500 miles, 805 kilometers, an hour, about as fast as a jet airplane. At that pace, they can cross the entire expanse of the Pacific Ocean in less than a day. And their long wavelengths mean they lose very little energy along the way. Next, let's take a look at what happens when tsunami hits the land. Sometimes a tsunami's trough, the lowest point beneath the wave's crest, reaches shore first. When it does, it produces a vacuum effect that sucks coastal water seaward and exposes the harbor and the sea floors. This retreating of seawater is an important warning sign of an impending tsunami because the wave's crest and its underlying enormous volume of water will typically hit the shore later. Recognizing this phenomenon can save lives. A tsunami is usually composed of a series of waves, called a wave train, so its destructive force may be compounded as successive waves reach the shore. Tsunamis do not appear on shore as massive breaking waves, but instead resemble a quickly surging tide that floods the coastal areas. The Pacific Tsunami Warning System, A coalition of 26 nations headquartered in Hawaii maintains a web of seismic equipment and water-level gauges to identify tsunamis at sea. The underwater sensors detect earthquakes and other causes, relay data to a processing center, which analyzes this data and then through satellite communication, alerts the authorities and the media of an impending tsunami. They in turn alert the vulnerable populations. Disaster Alert is a free mobile app for public use that provides the global community with critical hazard alerts and information needed to stay safe anywhere in the world. Disaster Alert offers near real-time updates about 18 different types of natural hazards as they are unfolding around the globe. Similarly, the INCOS or Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services maintains a system of Ocean Observation Network or ON to protect coastal areas of the country by issuing warnings about storm surges and high waves to the fishermen and coastal population at large. A tsunami cannot be precisely predicted, even if the magnitude and location of an earthquake are known. Geologists, oceanographers and seismologists analyze each earthquake and based on many factors, may or may not issue a tsunami warning. Technological advances and warning systems cannot protect coastal populations from a near-source tsunami because the first waves may reach the coast within minutes of the event. Local populations must be able to recognize the signs of an impending tsunami and take appropriate action immediately without waiting for official warnings. For this, they need to learn about natural indicators of tsunamis like strong or long earthquakes, a loud roar, like a train or an aeroplane, from the ocean, and unusual ocean behavior. The ocean could look like a fast-rising flood or a wall of water. Or, it could drain away suddenly, showing the ocean floor, reefs and fish like a very low tide. If you experience any of these warnings, even just one, a tsunami could be coming. So far, you have learned about what is a tsunami, its causes, and the warning systems in place to predict future occurrences of tsunamis. Let's take up an activity to check your understanding. Match the term phrase with its description. Drag the term or phrase and match it with the correct description, and then click Submit. Before, during, and after a tsunami, it is essential to be alert, prepared, and responsive to official warnings and guidelines to safeguard lives and minimize the impact of the disaster. Drag the pointer to each image to know more. Talk to everyone in your household about what to do if a tsunami occurs. Create and practice an evacuation plan for your family. Familiarity may save your life. You should be able to follow your escape route at night and during inclement weather. You should be able to reach your safe location on foot within 15 minutes. Practicing your plan makes the appropriate response better and quicker, requiring less thinking during an actual emergency. The following are things you can do to protect yourself, your family, and your property from the effects of a tsunami. To begin preparing, you should build an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Let's take a look at what it comprises. Emergency response kit should have a battery-operated torch, extra batteries, battery-operated radio, first aid kit and manual, emergency food consisting of dry items or dry snacks and water, candles and matches in a waterproof container, knife, chlorine tablets or powdered water purifiers, essential medicines, cash, important documents, thick ropes and cords, sturdy shoes. Know the height of your street above sea level and the distance of your street from the coast or other high-risk waters. Evacuation orders may be based on these numbers. If you are a tourist, familiarize yourself with local tsunami evacuation protocols. You may be able to safely evacuate to the third floor and higher in reinforced concrete hotel structures. If an earthquake occurs and you are in a coastal area, turn on your radio, switch on your TV, or use your mobile to learn if there is a tsunami warning. Know your community's warning systems and disaster plans, including evacuation routes. You should know if the school evacuation plan requires you to pick your children up from school or from another location. Be aware that telephone lines during a tsunami watch or warning may be overloaded and routes to and from schools may be jammed. Follow the evacuation instructions immediately along with your pets. Move inland to higher ground immediately. Pick areas 100 feet, 30 meters, above sea level or go as far as 2 miles, 3 kilometers, inland, away from the coastline. If you cannot get this high or as far, go as high or as far as you can. Every foot inland or upward may make a difference. Stay away from the beach. Never go down to the beach to watch a tsunami come in. If you can see the wave, you are too close to escape it. Caution: if there is noticeable recession in water away from the shoreline, this is nature's tsunami warning, and it should be heeded. You should move away immediately. Save yourself, not your possessions. Remember to help your neighbors who may require special assistance, like infants, elderly people, and individuals with special needs. Return home only after local officials tell you it is safe. A tsunami is a series of waves that may continue for hours. Do not assume that after one wave the danger is over. The next wave may be larger than the first one. Avoid disaster areas. Your presence might interfere with emergency response operations and put you at further risk from the residual effects of floods. Stay away from debris in the water. It may pose a safety hazard to people or pets. Check yourself for injuries and get first aid as needed before helping injured or trapped persons. If someone needs to be rescued, call professionals with the right equipment to help. Many people have been killed or injured trying to rescue others. Help people who require special assistance: infants, elderly people, those without transportation, people with special needs, and large families who may need additional help in an emergency situation. Continue using radio or tuning to a Coast Guard station or a local radio or television station for the latest updates. Stay out of any building that has water around it. Tsunami water can cause floors to crack or walls to collapse. Examine walls, floors, doors, staircases, and windows to make sure that the building is not in danger of collapsing. Inspect foundations for cracks or other damage. To avoid injury, wear protective clothing and be cautious when cleaning up. Wear long pants, a long-sleeved shirt, and sturdy shoes. The most common injuries following a tsunami are lacerative injuries in the feet. The tsunami may have damaged roads, bridges, or other places that may be unsafe. Use the telephone only for emergency calls. Telephone lines are frequently overwhelmed in disaster situations. They need to be kept free for emergency calls to get through. Look for fire hazards. Under the damage there may be broken or leaking gas lines, and under the tsunami-flooded areas, electrical circuits, or submerged furnaces or electrical appliances. Fire is the most frequent hazard after floods. Check for gas leaks. If you smell gas or hear a blowing or hissing noise, open a window and get everyone outside quickly. Turn off the gas using the outside main valve if you can, and call the gas company from a neighbor's home. If you turn off the gas for any reason, it must be turned back on by a professional. Use battery-powered lanterns or flashlights when examining buildings. Battery-powered lighting is the safest and easiest to use, and it does not present a fire hazard for the user, occupants, or building. Do not use candles. Look for electrical system damage. If you see sparks or broken or frayed wires, or if you smell burning insulation, turn off the electricity at the main fuse box or circuit breaker. If you have to step in water to get to the fuse box or circuit breaker, call an electrician first for advice. Electrical equipment should be checked and dried before being used again. Check for damage to sewage and water lines. If you suspect sewage lines are damaged, avoid using the toilets and call a plumber. If water pipes are damaged, contact the water company and avoid using water from the tap. You can obtain safe water from undamaged water heaters or by melting ice cubes that were made before the tsunami hit. Turn off the main water valve before draining water from these sources. Use tap water only if local health officials advise it is safe. Watch out for wild animals, especially poisonous snakes that may have come into buildings with the water. Use a stick to poke through debris. Tsunami flood water flushes snakes and animals out of their homes. Take pictures of the damage, both of the building and its contents, for insurance claims. Open the windows and doors to help dry the building. Shovel mud before it solidifies. Check food supplies. Any food that has come in contact with flood water may be contaminated and should be thrown out. Expect aftershocks. If the earthquake is of large magnitude, for example, of magnitude 8 to 9 on the Richter scale, with its epicenter nearby, some aftershocks could be as large as magnitude 7 and capable of generating another tsunami. Watch your pets closely. Keep all your pets under your direct control. Hazardous materials abound in flooded areas. Your pets may be able to escape from your home or through a broken fence. Pets may become disoriented, particularly because flooding usually affects scent markers that normally allow them to find their homes. The behavior of pets may change dramatically after any disruption by becoming aggressive or defensive, so be aware of their well-being and take measures to protect them from hazards, including displaced wild animals, and to ensure the safety of other people and animals. Next, let's learn about the role of NDRF volunteers in tsunami-affected areas. Next, let's learn about the role of volunteers in tsunami-affected areas. Let's take a look at a conversation between Ramesh, who is Disaster Response Coordinator for a tsunami-affected area, and a new volunteer Surender who joins his team. Hi Surender. It's great to have you here as a volunteer to help us during this critical time. I'm honored to be part of the team and contribute in any way I can. What tasks or responsibilities do you want me to take on? Let me explain about them. Volunteers can help in many ways. Volunteers may be the focal point of community. For any agency, volunteers may act as messenger of government's advisory and disseminate warning. Volunteers can help in evacuation of people from affected area. Volunteers can serve in relief camp for various services. Volunteers can help government agencies in restoration of utilities. Volunteers can be utilized by the state in all type of general services. For community development, you might be placed in projects like setting up a water treatment facility, setting up tsunami shelters, and cleaning the streets or planting trees. For social welfare, you may need to help in supporting women and cooperatives, donate food and clothes, provide essential medicines, rescue animals. Marshalling the population to the shelters or safe areas involves traffic management, warning dissemination, maintaining essential supplies to the shelters, and so on. Thank you for the guidance. It helped me a lot in understanding my role. I will do my best to provide support and hope to the affected communities. Welcome. We are all here to support each other and the people we serve. With this, we have come to the end of this module. Let's recollect the key points discussed in the module. Tsunami or harbor wave is a series of waves in a water body caused by the displacement of a large volume of water. Tsunamis generally consist of a series of waves, with periods ranging from minutes to hours, arriving in a so-called wave train. These awe-inspiring waves are typically caused by large, undersea earthquakes at tectonic plate boundaries. Tsunamis may also be caused by underwater landslides or volcanic eruptions, or by the impact of a large meteorite plunging into an ocean. Most tsunamis, about 80%, occur within the Pacific Ocean's ring of fire. Sometimes a tsunami's trough, the lowest point beneath the wave's crest, reaches shore first and produces a vacuum effect that sucks coastal water seaward and exposes harbor and sea floors. Recognizing this phenomenon can save lives. The Pacific Tsunami Warning System, a coalition of 26 nations headquartered in Hawaii, maintains a web of seismic equipment and water level gauges to identify tsunamis at sea. The population near the coastal areas need to learn natural indicators of tsunamis like strong or long earthquakes, a loud roar, like a train or an aeroplane, from the ocean, and the ocean could look like a fast-rising flood or a wall of water. Or, it could drain away suddenly, showing the ocean floor, reefs and fish like a very low tide. The best defense against any tsunami is an early warning that allows people to seek higher ground. Now, it is time to check your understanding of the topic. This is an evaluation exercise. All questions are equally weighted. You need to score at least 60% to pass the test. Read the questions carefully and select the appropriate options. Congratulations!